From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Alyssa Donovan in for Nicole Griffin. A bill that would put the nation's strongest police oversight board in place could pass during tomorrow's Indianapolis City County Council meeting. If successfully passed, Proposal 237 would give civilian oversight to IMPD rules and how they are written for officers. Those who support the passing of the proposal believe that Indianapolis can lead the way towards change.
It shows checks and balances. And it also restores just a level of democracy. I think it's so important that when you have any entity serving the community, that they have citizens who are a part of helping them to do their absolute very best.
This topic is controversial, and we will dive into what both sides have to say about the proposal tonight at 11. Metro Police are investigating a deadly shooting with 2 possible crime scenes. Just after noon today, police were called to the 8700 block of Masters Road in Castleton. Witnesses reported seeing a person jump out of a moving vehicle. Police found that person wounded, lying in the road. Minutes later, officers responded to a nursing home nearby on Craig Street, where a car had slammed into the building. They found a woman dead inside the car. She'd been shot. Police believe the vehicle involved in the crash is the same one involved in the incident on Masters Road. And it's been a busy afternoon for homicide investigators. They're also investigating a stabbing at a Subway restaurant on the north side. It happened at 120 West 38th Street. Police found the victim in the parking lot. Medics pronounced the person dead at the scene. And right now, police are also investigating a homicide at the Marion County Jail. That's where an inmate died on Saturday night. Investigators believe he was attacked by another inmate. 38-year-old Martin Cruz had been in custody since July 3rd on multiple felony charges of child molestation. Now to our continuing coverage of coronavirus and its impact on Indiana. The State Department of Health reports 1,579 more people tested positive for COVID-19. That's the 3rd highest single-day total since the pandemic began. 7 more people have died with the coronavirus, bringing the total number to 3,562. Since March, more than 134,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. More than 2.3 million tests have been administered in Indiana. And a woman ran a marathon this morning, not for a prize, not for the gold, simply to raise awareness for one issue people are dealing with during the pandemic. Sarah Gardner of Speedway ran 26.2 miles to remind all of us that some people are not able to visit family members who are in nursing homes still due to COVID-19. Gardner's father has been at the Brook Knoll Village Senior Living Center since he had a stroke. Her marathon track took her right to the nursing home where she was able to see him through a window. Great weather for that today.
Yeah, very nice out there. You know, we at one point thought we might get a little bit of rain out of what was at a point Hurricane Delta. Now brushing by to our southeast, we got the clouds from it, but there's the area of low pressure over portions of Tennessee. You can see that rain. It's going to continue to graze by, and we will remain dry here for yet another day. But it made for some very nice weather there for your outdoor activities on this Sunday. Temperatures made their way more than 10 degrees above average. We sit at 76 with those mostly cloudy skies right now. Humidity may have noticed a little bit of that in the air. It's running at 60% with an east breeze around 10 miles per hour. Do have some areas across the western portion of the state into the 80s right now. It's 81 in Bloomington, 82 for you in Sullivan. Muncie coming in at 76. So it is mild everywhere. And as we round out the weekend here, we've got some more nice temperatures. Maybe you're heading out for an evening walk there. Not going to need the jacket. Temperatures will be sliding back to around 70 here at 9 o'clock. We're still in the mid-60s as we approach midnight with partly cloudy skies. We really need some rainfall out there. We've got a chance coming up here for Monday afternoon. We'll talk about how much what weather is coming our way in just a few minutes. Alyssa.
All right. Thanks, Kyle. Well, 2 in 5 people going to food banks in Indiana are going there for the first time due to the pandemic. The nonprofit Million Meal Movement is working to help those in need right now. The group is preparing for their Million Meal Marathon, which is October 13th through November 7th. They do this event each year. Usually they package all 1 million meals in one day, but due to COVID-19 and the need to social distance, they're now spreading that event out to a whole month. Organizers say the pandemic has increased food insecurity among Hoosiers, and now is a time something like this is desperately needed.
Our partners have seen a demand increase that of 2 to 3 times what they would typically see. And Feeding America estimates 17.1 million additional people are going to be in a situation of being food insecure, and that's due to repercussions of COVID-19.
Since the Million Meal Movement began in 2007, they've packaged more than 31 million meals for people right here in Indiana. If you'd like to volunteer or help with the Million Meals event, you can go to millionmeals.org. Coming up, we're checking in on the race for president. What's next for Donald Trump now that doctors have given him the all clear, and how Joe Biden is stepping up efforts to drive home his message. And the coronavirus pandemic continues to impact families across the Hoosier state. Ahead, we look into one organization providing help for families who need it. President Trump's doctor says he's well enough to return to campaigning a little more than a week after testing positive for COVID-19. As we're heading into the home stretch of the presidential election, both candidates are pulling out the stops to connect with voters. ABC's Faith Abube has the latest from Washington, D.C.
In yet another Fox News interview since leaving Walter Reed Hospital last Monday, President Trump now claiming he's COVID-free and immune to the deadly virus.
Looks like I'm immune for, I don't know, maybe a long time, or maybe a short time. It could be a lifetime. Nobody really knows, but I'm immune.
Trump's comments follow a statement from his personal doctor Saturday night, saying that the president has met the CDC's criteria and is no longer at risk of spreading the virus. The White House still hasn't said when the president last tested negative for COVID-19 and won't comment on if he's tested negative now before he goes out on the campaign trail. Trump has been eager to get back on track.
First of all, I'm feeling great. I don't know about you. How's everyone feeling?
Staging an in-person campaign event at the White House this weekend. Hundreds of supporters on the South Lawn, many wearing masks, but no social distancing.
It's going to disappear. It is disappearing, and with vaccines are going to help, and the therapeutics are going to help a lot.
With more than 214,000 Americans dead from the virus so far, a new ABC News Washington Post poll shows voters trust Joe Biden over Trump to handle the pandemic.
America deserves a president who understands what people are going through.
The polls show Biden enjoying a double-digit lead nationwide, while Trump faces questions about his business dealings. The New York Times saying in a report, President Trump has reinvented the D.C. swamp. ABC News has not independently verified the tax documents in the Times reporting, which adds that the president profited from more than 200 companies, groups, and foreign governments patronizing Trump properties at a time when his personal empire was struggling financially. Eric Trump, the president's son, on ABC's This Week.
We're a hospitality company. We've got tens of millions of people staying at our properties every single year. The New York Times is absolute fake news. All they want to do is take down my father.
Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
And with 3 weeks until Election Day, more than 7 million Americans have already cast their ballots. That's according to a CNN and Edison research survey of election officials in 36 states. So far, Democrats lead Republicans in the 6 states reporting returns by party. Of course, this doesn't predict the outcome of the presidential election. Polling shows Republicans strongly prefer voting in person on Election Day instead of using early options. The number of pre-Election Day ballots being cast is expected to rise around the country. By the end of the week, all 50 states and Washington, D.C. will have ballots available for early voters. Let WRTV be your central source for all you need to know before November 3rd. Go to our Vote in 2020 digital section on our website. You'll find everything you need to know there, including who's on your ballot, where you can vote and when, how early voting works and when that starts, what mailing in your vote looks like, and any other questions you might have this election season. Keep a tab open at WRTV.com/vote in 2020. And many families right now are struggling to make ends meet and struggling to put food on the table for their kids. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson explains how you can help those struggling or get help if you need it.
Who goes in the farm?
Chickens.
The chickens?
The chicken.
And who else?
Corey and Lauren Schneider's family got a little bigger this summer.
We're excited to have her in our lives for the rest of our lives.
Through Safe Families for Children, they've met Gabby, a spunky 2-year-old who lights up any room.
What does a cow say?
Moo.
Moo.
Gabby's mom doesn't have family who lives nearby and couldn't take care of her while she was on bed rest and then delivered a baby boy who had to stay in the NICU for several weeks. So she reached out to Safe Families for help.
Safe Families is not just glorified babysitting. It's not, let me call you up, come take my kid for a couple of days. It's much more than that. It's much deeper than that.
Schneider says they act as an extended family now for Gabby and her mom, there to help in times of need.
It's not about taking baby from mom because mom's not doing something right. It's about coming alongside mom, coming alongside baby, or 0 to 18, and saying, we want to love on you, we want to care on you, we want to stand next to you during a hard time or during a time when you need help, and then we want to reunite your family together.
The Schneiders are what's called a host family with Safe Families for Children. But Lauren says if hosting isn't something you can do, she tells me there are dozens of ways you can help.
You can provide babysitting. You can provide rest care, what we call respite care. You can provide meals. You can provide food. You can provide cleaning services, really anything. You can be a family coach. So you can work with, if you like to work with adults more, you can work with those moms and dads who might need a little extra help.
Now, besides Gabby and her mom, the Schneiders have gained a community of folks they now know won't hesitate to help.
We didn't have anything, and our community has donated everything for us. This experience has changed us, and even if Gabby doesn't remember us, which she might not, we will always remember her.
Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
The warm weather this weekend, nice to get out there and do maybe a little bit of leaf peeping, checking out some of that fall color. Here we go with the Brown County leaf camera, and especially this morning with that fog, it really was helping to pop that fall color. You can see, though, some beautiful views there as we are looking here on this Sunday evening, getting ready to wind down the weekend. We've got a few clouds, but they've started to really kind of clear out, but it's temporary. We will see more of those clouds here as we go into tonight. Partly cloudy skies for you right now in Lafayette. 80 degrees, still in the lower 80s with those clouds in Bloomington, and 76 in Indianapolis. Tonight, it's going to be mild again. Temperatures upper 50s to around 60 degrees. Could see a little bit of that fog again going into tomorrow morning, but again, a very mild start. Not going to need the jacket out there. Our average highs in the upper 60s, so our morning low not too far from that. What we really need is some rainfall, because it's now been 54 days since we have seen more than 1/10 of an inch in the rain gauge in Indianapolis. We, of course, had a very dry September. It looks like as we go into tomorrow afternoon, cold front's going to move through. It will bring in the chance for a shower or thunderstorm with it. You can see this is 2:30 in the afternoon. Some of that rain lining up there along the Illinois-Indiana border. As we get a little closer to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, from around Kokomo, Peru, down through Indianapolis and into the Bloomington area. Maybe a rumble of thunder, and TrueCast really kind of gives a little more gas to these showers and storms as they approach Richmond and then push into portions of Ohio. We will have some gusty winds outside of the storms, so we could have a few of those producing gusty winds with the storms as well, but I don't think we're going to see any widespread strong to severe thunderstorms or anything like that. The showers will then pretty quickly push off to the east, so that means we're not expecting much in the way of rainfall. As you look at the forecast here, generally about 1/10 of an inch. Some areas might squeak out about 1/4 of an inch of rainfall here as we go through the start of the work and school week. Temperatures, though, they will remain mild, maybe not as warm as the last couple of days. Not talking about the 80s. but still around 70 for you at noon, 73 as we go into the afternoon with that chance for a shower or storm. And the winds will kick up a little bit tomorrow afternoon. Notice those wind gusts here could be in excess of 30 miles per hour as we get into the afternoon and evening hours. But again, it's primarily a warm wind. Then we start to see another system that will come our way later in the week. Between now and then, we've got highs in the 70s, showers on Thursday, an early morning cool front. That brings us to 60 for the high. Then by Friday, you are going to need those fall layers. Only 55. That's after starting off at 37. Could have a little bit of frost going into the start of next weekend with much cooler temperatures.
All right, we're ready for it. Thanks, Kyle. It's a dangerous double dose, COVID-19 and the flu. Coming up next, health experts talk about what could happen if we find ourselves in a twindemic this fall and winter. October is the month when flu cases across the country usually begin their uptick. And this flu season could be worse than usual. As Maya Rodriguez reports, health officials will be tracking not just flu cases, but also the coronavirus. And they're hoping the country can avoid a so-called twindemic.
It's a convergence of two health crises, the ongoing coronavirus pandemic and a brand new flu season now underway.
There's not much flu in the northern hemisphere in the summer, but there is a lot in the southern hemisphere.
Dr. Amish Adalja of Johns Hopkins says healthcare professionals have observed the flu in places like Australia and New Zealand during the past several months, offering clues into what we might expect here as our weather gets colder.
The southern hemisphere has had a remarkable flu season, mostly because it's 99% lower than what they've seen in prior years. This has to do with the fact that the social distancing that people are doing for COVID-19 also has an impact on influenza because they're both spread in the same manner.
But the U.S. has failed to control the spread of the coronavirus, leading to fears that the country might be facing a twindemic where COVID-19 and the flu collide. The one silver lining: less international travel around the world may make it harder for the flu to spread globally, like it has in years past.
The point we have to continue to emphasize is we don't know for sure if we'll have a light flu season, and we have to prepare for one that's severe.
So far, the coronavirus has killed more than 210,000 people in the U.S. That's more than the previous 5 flu seasons combined. Still, any uptick in hospitalizations because of the flu could further strain hospitals already dealing with COVID-19. One region of concern, the upper Midwest, in places like Wisconsin, a coronavirus hotspot.
It is stretching our hospital capacity, and it is overwhelming our public health infrastructure.
One step that could help, ensuring everyone gets a flu shot, even if it doesn't end up being a perfect match to this year's strain.
Even if it isn't a complete match and it doesn't prevent you from getting the flu, it still will prevent you from dying from influenza, getting hospitalized with influenza, getting complications from influenza.
One of the few tools available in a time of great uncertainty. In Washington, I'm Maya Rodriguez.
And doctors may be a step closer to restoring vision loss to patients with deteriorating eyesight. Scientists in Oklahoma say most eye problems are caused by a buildup of blood vessels attached to the retina. They developed a compound to trick certain proteins to regress rather than get worse. Doctors hope their discovery will lead to restoring vision to people. They also hope to possibly use it as a way to shrink tumors throughout the body. Don't forget, tonight is Game 6 of the NBA Finals between the LA Lakers and the Miami Heat. You'll only see it here on WRTV. It is the Lakers' chance to win their 17th NBA title. The NBA countdown begins at 7. That's followed by Jimmy Kimmel Live and the news at 11. Again, this is only tonight and only on WRTV. Well, today is National Coming Out Day, and the NFL is releasing this public service announcement to support LGBTQ players. The 30-second PSA features openly gay or bisexual former players, encouraging athletes to share their stories. The video also shows current players voicing their support as well. The PSA is airing during game broadcasts today. It's part of the NFL's It Takes All of Us campaign. Consumers around the world have more than embraced online shopping, and experts say there's no going back. A research firm has estimated that e-commerce sales in the U.S. would increase to $710 billion this year. Globally, online sales are expected to rise more than 16% to nearly $4 trillion. Retailers with a large online presence like Amazon and Walmart are doing well, while others that rely heavily on mall sales or haven't fully adapted to online shopping are facing extinction. Experts say the longer the pandemic goes on, it's more likely customers will stick to their new shopping habits, such as curbside pickup and home deliveries. Well, who do you admire and how far would you go to show that admiration? Well, check this out. A real super fan of the rapper Eminem is willing to go to the extreme. The 35-year-old Scottish woman has set a world record for her Eminem tattoos. Nikki Patterson has 16 tattoo portraits of the rapper. Guinness World Records says that's not enough to earn her the title of the most, the title of the most tattoos of the same musician tattooed on the body. Patterson says she really wanted to tattoo Eminem's signature, so she's using the hashtag #SignMeShady on her Instagram to get attention.
Good luck to her.
Have a good night.